Hello guys, we welcome all of you. Today we will discuss 5G related short questions which frequently asked in a 5G interview. So please, before starting this video, I hope you will subscribe my channel and don't forget to press bell icon, and also don't forget to watch description link videos which are related to 4G, 2G and 3G drive test, like drive test engineer and RF engineer also. Okay, so let's start. Our first question is, what is the difference between ENDC and NEDC in 5G and R? Okay, in 5G, what is the meaning of ENDC and NEDC? We can see here, if we talk about ENDC, ENDC is related to EUTRA NR and NEDC is related to NR EUTRA dual connectivity. Means it is very simple, as ENDC is an abbreviation for EUTRA NR dual connectivity. Here you can see in this diagram, this is the ENDC, and in right you can see this is the NEDC. Here in ENDC, the master node is LTE and the secondary node is 5G BTS, and in NEDC here we can see the master node is NR and the secondary node is LTE. Okay, in ENDC we say E Ultra NR dual connectivity, and NEDC is an abbreviation for NR. Here NR E Ultra dual connectivity. Okay, that's why E Ultra was mentioned first. That's why Ultra was mentioned first and NR was mentioned second in the abbreviation ENDC, and first letter is used for MN. First letter is used for MN and secondary letter is used for SN. Okay. While for NEDC, U is connected to one 5G BTS that acts as a master node here in NEDC. Okay. One UE is connected to one 5G BTS that acts as a master node B, and one 4G BTS that acts as a secondary node B. Okay. Also, this take care that both BTS are connected to EPC. Here you can see EPC, both BTS are connected to EPC, while the NEDC BTS are connected to 5G core. Okay, according to 3GPP specification 37.340. That's all. Next question is, what is NR26 interface is 5G NR? Okay, what is the meaning of NR26 interface in 5G? Here you can see this works between, this is the reference point between the AMF and the MME, and 26 is an interface, and 26 is an inter-core network interface between AMF and MME. In order to enable interworking between the 5G core and EPC, N26 interface works. Okay, N26 interface is optional in the network. Interworking procedures using N26 interface enables the exchange of MM and SM states between the source and target network, and handover procedures are supported through this interface, that is N26 interface. Okay, next question is, as N26 interface is optional, then it is important or not? If this is optional, then it is important or not? Okay, let's see. It is important because the support for N26 interface between AMF in 5G core and MME in EPC is required to enable seamless session continuity for inter-system handover, which will be critical for voice services. And let me tell you, for coverage based handover, that during handover between 5G VoLTE NR to the 4G VoLTE, so with N26 interface we had a voice interruption time equal to 70 milliseconds. This is a practical view, while without N26 interface the interruption time is more. here you can see 700 millisecond. Okay, however the recommended limit for voice call is 300 millisecond because N26 reduce interruption time, so data transfer directly between AMF and MME. That's why it is important. Okay, next question is, what is Shannon law? What is Shannon law? As you all know that Shannon law says that the highest obtainable error-free data speed expressed in bits per second, okay, is an function of the bandwidth and the signal to interference ratio. Here in this formula you can see that C is the channel capacity according to Shannon law statement, and the which is in bits per second, and W is the bandwidth in hertz, and S by N is the signal to interference ratio. Okay, our next question is, how can we know whether our network is 5G capable or not? How we will know that which network we are connected is 5G capable or not? As per 3GPP, third generation partnership project, we have to check SIP2 message. Okay, here is the IEs which shows upper layer indication release 15. Okay, upper layer indication release 15. If this I is set as true, means our network is 5G capable. If this I is set true, means our network is 5G capable, and if this upper layer indication release 15 is set as false, or if this IE is not present, then our network is not capable 5G. Okay, next question is, how can we know whether my DUT device under test is VoLTE supported or not? Our handset which we are using for testing is VoLTE supportable or not? How we will know? Okay, as we know, for UE to be VoLTE capable, we have to check attach request message sent by UE. In attach request message, we can check voice underscore domain underscore preference underscore 4 underscore eutran. If this value is 3, 0 multiply 3, IMS packet switch voice preferred, CS voice as secondary. Okay, then we able to understand that our DUT is VoLTE capable. Okay, our next question is, how can we know whether my DUT is 5G NR supported or not? Which handset we are using is 5G supportable or not? To check whether my DUT is 5G NR supported or not, we have to verify below attach request message. That is, first point is DCNR equal to 1. This indicates that my UE in 5G capable. And second point is dual connectivity for EUTRAN with NR capability equal to 1. Okay, also we need to check below IEs in UE capability information sent by the UE to the network, that is EUTRA NE release 15 is set as true. Okay, our eighth question is, can 5G NR carrier aggregation improve coverage? Means carrier aggregation is when 5G NR is used to improve coverage or capacity. As we know, first thing is that CA only used for improve capacity, not coverage. Okay, either it is in 4G or in 5G. Because 5G carrier aggregation can be used to improve 5G coverage if it is done between two carriers from different bands. Okay, for example, one carrier at low band 700 megahertz band and another one carrier either at mid band, that is 3.5 gigahertz, or high band, that is 28 gigahertz. Mid and high band are more uplink limited, which limited the 5G coverage. Okay, but in 5G carrier aggregation, UL data are moved to the low band at the same time, so percentage of users that can access the 5G mid band cell increased from 45% using 5G standalone to be 67% using and DC in non-standalone. Okay, and lastly, to reach 84% using 5G CA between low band and mid band. Okay, that's all. Next question is why there is no PHICH channel in 5G NR? Why this channel is not using in 5G NR? PHICH is used in 4G LTE to send acknowledge and negative acknowledge for the uplink received data. Asynchronous HARQ is used in LTE uplink. Okay, we know PHICH channel is used in 4G to send acknowledge or negative acknowledge. Okay, so UE expects feedback about the data sent in a specific time, but in 5G NR we use asynchronous HARQ for uplink, so we don't need PHICH as we don't have a specific timing to send the feedback to the UE, and in order to indicate a retransmission is required. Same HARQ process number is sent with NDI, that is new data indicator bit is not logged, which will be interrupted by the UE as retransmission. And while if NDI is toggled, change its value, for example from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, so UE will consider it as a sign for a few transmission. Okay, our last question is why in 5G NR the channel PCFICH is not there as in 4G, while it is used in 4G, but in 5G NR it is not using. Because why? First, we need to know the function of this channel in 4G and whether we need it in 5G or not. So then PCFICH is used in 4G to define the size of PDCCH. Okay, PCFICH is used in 4G because to define the size of PDCCH, which is how many symbols are used for PDCCH, as its size can change dynamically based on call load. Okay, but in 5G the G node B transmits the PDCCH using resource elements which belong to a control resource set. Okay, that is core reset. The number of symbols allocated to the core reset is specified using the duration information element. A core reset can be configured with a duration of 1, 2 or 3 symbols. Okay, and the duration is fixed once it has been configured, that is it is semi-static, and which is in contrast to 4G. And the advantage of this to simplify the decoding process, because the UE does not need to decode the PCFICS before decoding the PDCCS. Okay, that's all. Thank you.